What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Cullen Gandy here, coming at you with another piece of just prime rib advice when it comes to personal finance, mortgage finance, and general salesmanship. I hope that you have some real value coming out of this video because I know I'm going to be bringing it. Today I'm going to be talking to you special few mortgage loan originators, you mortgage warrior poets, as it were, champions of the mortgage industry. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to deal with really well qualified borrowers who, what's more, know that they are really well qualified. How do you close these folks who know that they're just out to get the best deal? They're dealing with you fairly, they're being upfront, but you know it's going to be a fight to the death with every other lender and every other provider to get their business closed on your end of the table rather than someone else's. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos, you've seen me talk about how to deal with a particularly difficult client. This is not going to be one of those cases, even though it may be difficult to close these clients. These are just people who really know what they want, go after it, and aren't going to have a lot of fat to cut around when it comes to the negotiating table. So if you're aiming to be that top producer, if you want to get to that next level on the financial tier, stick around. I'm going to show you just the tactics that I use to get these really great borrowers closed. By the way, guys, if you like videos like this, please make sure to leave a like for me because you know I like finding them likes. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so I can notify you of content that is just so beautiful, just like this. Thanks so much, guys. It helps with the YouTube algorithm immensely. So for a little bit of background on me, I work for a major mortgage lender who pays on units or salary rather than on commission because of the amount of leads that they have coming in our way. That being said, working for one of these major online lenders really does have its benefits when you are attracting the best borrowers, the cream of the crop, when you're doing these conventional loans that are really attractive to borrowers with generally higher net worths and better credit ratings. These are the borrowers that are seeking out the best deals, that are looking for loans, that aren't just trying to get a deal, but want to get really a particular kind of deal. Some folks are just worried about getting a mortgage and being enabled to do so, like in the case of people who are just first-time home buyers or maybe on a fixed income, whereas these leads are generally going to be more savvy and going to be pushing you for the best deal possible up front. So when I first engage one of these borrowers on the phone or in an email, I give them all of the rundown of what should be available to them at the time of the quote, given a certain profile. Now, I'm confident in my company's ability to provide an exceptionally attractive rate for each term that we offer. However, sometimes it doesn't always shake out like that. So when you give that kind of a borrower all of the information laid out in front of them right up front, it gives them the most informed decision-making process from the get-go. But it also lets them know that you don't have anything that you're trying to hide from them or finagle them into a deal they might not be interested in the first place. In my experience, these folks really appreciate when you just tell them, hey, look, this is what we can offer you. This isn't to say that this is all that we might be able to offer you, but this is what we're advertising, and if you lock in with us, this is how this transaction is going to progress for you. That means that you're going to be answering all of their questions that have to do with the procedure of the loan, the costs of the loan, the estimated time to closing from application, and any ways that they might be able to get a better deal from us down the line after filling out the application. That means sometimes letting the borrower know what your strengths are as a company when you're offering products, but also I've found that borrowers appreciate when you point out the weaknesses and how you might be able to address them in the market. One that I come across a lot is that we're not always offering the best or the lowest, what's called note rate or initial rate that we sort of negotiate for as far as how the amortization schedule is calculated. However, I always try to make sure that they understand that even though we might not always be the most competitive looking initial note rate, we always try to match whatever the APR is to that note rate as close as we possibly can by cutting out all of the fat in the fees. The second way I close on these really savvy borrowers is I like to meet them in the medium that they are most comfortable. I can't tell you how many sales correspondences I could lose out on if I just shot over an email with some of the details and they never checked it. So make sure that you follow up on the medium, that is to say the communication medium, that they're engaging you most with, because that's where you're going to have the most success. It sounds kind of intuitive when you're saying it, but I found that a lot of mortgage loan originators, they get into this space where they just have a routine where they'll go through and they'll call everybody once over or twice over in a week and not follow up on an email or not leave voicemails, and they're missing out on business that way. Savvy borrowers and savvy clients always really appreciate promptness in response, which means that not only are you going to really benefit from responding, but you're going to really benefit and put points up on the board if you respond really quickly. I can't tell you how many deals I can get pushed forward when somebody emails me or shoots me a call at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday or something when most people would have gone home for the day, and I shoot them an email right back, and not even a minute later. This is a retention tool that also I get feedback from often. They're like, oh man, you responded to me, this is great. And I'm like, well, this is like the bare minimum. I want your business and I'm trying to get paid. But a side effect of that is you're going to have to make yourself available beyond what other people would generally make themselves available to the customer, client, or borrower. I am constantly taking in calls after hours, sometimes 7 or 8 p.m., 9 p.m. at night, where I'm emailing, following up with people. If they have questions, I'm addressing their questions, and I'm getting it done same day, sometimes same hour, as they are asking it, even after I clock out for the afternoon. Now, this is something that is somewhat of an open secret, and especially if you are being paid on salary, where it's a 9 to 5, it can be sort of controversial to say it, but a lot of us, we're sticking around after these hours just to close these units with these people. Because think about it, yeah, you work an extra couple of hours later on in the day, but if you close 3 or 4 or 5 more units that month, that could be the thing that kicks you into that next tier of pay, which could mean $30,000 or $40,000 more a year. Answer all of the correspondences quickly, that is to say all of the messages, all of the voicemails, answer them quickly, and make yourself available to answer them after hours. This is going to get you great reviews. This is going to get you future business, and you are going to be developing a network far beyond your initial client. Another really big point is when you lock in with a really qualified borrower and they start the loan process, they're submitting all the documents, you want to check these documents thoroughly. Sometimes borrowers don't really know whether or not they need to provide certain kinds of documentation, or sometimes I figure out that borrowers don't even know if they're employed or self-employed because they make so much money and they have so much power in their company that they actually end up not being an employee like they thought they were. Understand underwriting guidelines when you are talking to these borrowers. If they tell you, yeah, I'm an employee for this company, but they're, the director of the board, or their title is president on a lot of these documents, you're going to want to follow up with them and say, hey, look, if you have 25% of the company in stock shares, you are actually considered self-employed, and we're going to have to get extra documents for that. We're going to have to get a profit and loss statement from the company. We're going to have to get business and tax returns, and it's going to be a little bit of a different process than you might have thought from the onset. If you let the borrowers know this up front, then there's a lot better chance that they're not going to get really angry with you down the line when they're asked for more documentation that they didn't really think they were going to have to provide. One of the most effective things that I do to close these borrowers is also to under-promise but over-deliver. If they're asking you how long is this going to take, and it usually takes 65 days, tell them 70 days. And then try to deliver it in 50 days. And they're going to think that you just performed a magic trick when really it was well within your grasp the whole time. If you saw my other video where I talked about how to deal with a difficult borrower, I gave you a scenario in which you don't really want to be wasting your time over-talking or over-pleasing with the borrower when you could be spending it with a more qualified, more motivated borrowers. However, with these very savvy, very well-qualified borrowers, if they have a lot of questions and they have a lot of concerns, you might benefit from actually giving them a little bit more time, because that is like a bird in hand, right? So if you got a really good, shiny object, you don't want to throw it away just because you have to maybe spend 15, 20 minutes explaining some things when that could be a deadlock and a great close for you. A hypothetical to other borrowers isn't as valuable when you have somebody that you know qualifies, you know is giving you all of the indications that they're interested in your product, because one, they're telling you up front that they're shopping around and that they're looking for the best deal and they understand generally how the loan process works, and two, they're giving you the opportunity to sell them by asking you the kinds of questions that they know you can provide them with certain kinds of deals if you can meet certain qualifications. These are the people that know that you can provide them with a really good rate, but they're going to be the ones who take actions on the loan. They're going to be the folks that actually fill out the applications and then follow up by providing other loan estimates, by providing other quotes that lenders are giving to them, rather than just playing the game where they make you promises but never deliver on those promises. Use the promises as execution markers. If they execute on your loan, then you give them more time of your day because you know that they are serious borrowers, that they're qualified, and that they're actually interested in the best deal. Most of the people that I close that are in this category, this is how it goes. They tell me what they want, and if I can't give it to them right up front, I can tell them how we can get there, and they always end up going with me because they use the roadmap and they execute on all their promises. If you have a well-qualified borrower base and you have a lot of these folks in your pipeline, you want to treat them with the respect that they're going to demand because they know that they're qualified, they know how to get to the best deal, and they just want you to give them permission for them to give you their money. And so just go ahead and do that. Spend the time, put in the effort, make yourself available, and I will also be doing more videos on how to do the really particular parts of the loan status that really gets the best result back from these kinds of folks. Again, guys, if you like these kinds of tips and tricks and little educational things to get to where you want to be in the mortgage industry, please go ahead and just hit me with that like. Just hit me. I need it. I need your like. Also, subscribe and continue watching. Share it with your friends. Do everything. Just take my video and put it in people's faces, please. But seriously, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the future. Hopefully, we'll both be a little bit happier and a little bit richer. Ciao.